right, we're talking about prioritizing our well-being today in this episode. I think that so many of us who are running businesses, we probably start out in those first, 2, 3 years where we just feel like we're hustling and grinding. We don't really spend a ton of time at the gym or making food necessarily, right? I'm not saying that everyone does this, but this was my experience. And it's just because I was so passionate about what I was doing and my business was picking up and I wanted to make money and, be of service to people. And I just found myself being like, it's fine, I'll work out later, or I'll do that later, or I'll just order takeout. And before you know it, it became its own routine of not working out, not prioritizing time to just even shut my brain off for 5 minutes, let alone an hour. And I found it really hard to take a day off from work without actually thinking about work or without actually doing work. So I think many of us are in this camp, right? Like many of us are finding that we're sacrificing our health and our happiness just to be able to have a job that we love and a business that we love that will eventually make us enough money to be able to have a life that we love. And, I said this to a client the other day privately. I said, it's really important to me that you really think about, do you prioritize your health and happiness now or later? Because you might not have later. And so it's really, I don't say that to scare you or shame, rather just, again, speaking from my own experience. And I think I want to unpack a little bit here today as to the why self-care is so essential, right? And I think that, so we're not going to spend a ton of time on that, but I do want to start the episode there. And then let's talk about how we can prioritize your well-being and your self-care without feeling guilty. So the first things first, right? The ripple effect of self-care. When you wake up at a time that feels comfortable for you, you get sunlight in your eyes, you go and you work out. Let's say if you like to work out in the morning, you eat a solid breakfast, you get 3, if not more meals a day, every 3, 4 hours. What happens is you're regulating your own body so your body knows that it is safe for you to go do the shit that is really important to you, right? So I know that working out and being healthy is important to you, but for some people, we might prioritize it second over running this business. If I were you, I would switch it. The priority is health, happiness, well-being, and then as a byproduct of that, you can show up and have success in your business. It's similar to brushing your teeth. It's a must-have, right? You must brush your teeth, but most of us brush our teeth because we don't want to have bad breath. But really, truly, it's that, and the bigger overarching thing is like, you don't want to have no teeth. You don't want to have teeth decay. You don't want to have gum issues. You don't have to spend a shit ton of money on your teeth. The same thing occurs when we make it a must that we must do self-care every day, multiple times a day, to be able to feel healthier and happier, right? So how do you take care of yourself so that when you take care of yourself, it benefits your business? Let's talk about the benefits first. Improved mood, happiness, less anxiety, less stress, less depression, less overwhelm, less pressure, being able to spend time with your family and friends, be present, be fun to be around, right? We know the benefits. Okay. So then if we know the benefits and we don't do it, it's because, in my opinion, we don't value that. I'm going to say it again. The reason why you may not be taking care of your health and well-being the way that you want to as you're running your business is because you may not prioritize your health and well-being. I know that's a little, I'm like, Katie, I do. You don't if you're not putting it first. And I'm saying this not from a slap on the wrist, but rather I've done this. Think about it. Whenever you've spent time with someone who's like, I just don't have time, whatever it may be, right? Oh, I don't have time to get back to that person who sent me an email. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to reply to that phone call. It's because they don't value or the thing that they quote unquote need to do. They don't. They value other things above it. Oh, I value being able to answer emails and seeing if any business came in. I value spending time with my children at breakfast. I value, right? We put things in ranking order, right? If you don't value your own health and happiness and you put other things before that, including your children, you will find that your health and happiness will always take a back seat. So you got to prioritize it. So something very subtle that you can do, right, is okay, sure, prioritizing, let's say you have a young child, prioritizing your young child's breakfast is important, but while you're doing that, making yourself breakfast and you two sit together and you eat. That in itself is a self-care strategy 101 right there, right? It's again, in the moments when you're about to go do something for someone else, it's asking yourself, what do I need to do for myself first? And I always used to do this, like when I was taking care of my nana passed in 2008, 19, and I in 18 um had was like spending a ton of time with her, and I was just sort of getting into this like setting better boundaries. And as opposed to just running down there to take care of her, instead I would always ask myself, am I hungry, angry, lonely, and tired? What are those things that I need to do to take care of myself right now so that when I do go show up with her and for her, I am feeling a heck of a lot better. So I would always prioritize, a workout, food, and then I would usually prioritize maybe even a little nap because I knew it was going to be kind of a long drive down and a long drive back. Um, but I think, self-care can look different for everyone. It can be mental, financial, physical, emotional. For me, something that it feels like self-care now, it didn't then, is sitting down with my money and looking at my spreadsheet and looking at my Monarch budgeting app and saying, okay, according to Monarch, I've spent X amount of money in food, but I really should have spent this much. Okay, I need to be mindful of that for next week when I go buy groceries, right? It's like just these little micro moments of being able to say to myself, okay, well, I did this yesterday. I was sitting and working and my neck was kind of aching. And I was like, I could either go lay down and go to bed because it was about that time, or I was like, you know what? I'm actually going to go for a walk and I'm going to call a friend. And like I went for a walk outside, bundled up, went for a walk, and then my neck felt so much better. And when I came back, I just felt like a totally different person. It's like just asking yourself in the moment, should I do this or should I do that? Or maybe not should, but like, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And I think what's so essential about self-care and really prioritizing is your own boundaries. And when are you saying no? I recently had a client call me and say, oh my God, I screwed up on this client project and I'm so in my head about it. And, I need to get back to her right away. And I was like, I understand that. But really quickly, based off the quote unquote screw up, the thing you missed, A, can you do the work that's being asked of you? And B, do you want to do it? And she was like, shit, good question. So it's protecting your energy and your time. This same client had a huge opportunity and I asked her the same question and she was doing the work for free. And I said, do you feel that A, you can do it without stressing yourself out? And B, do you have enough time to get it done so that when the rewards come, meaning that more of these celebrities and more of these people reach out to you asking for you to do this work, that you feel when looking back like, oh, it's totally worth it? Because it's not worth it if you're going to stress yourself out to get it done. And that's really what I focus on when I coach people is how can you still be productive and put yourself first, but not stress yourself out while you're doing it? Because I think so many of us have done this whole concept of if I put pressure on myself to get shit done and stress myself out and don't take breaks and don't take pee breaks and don't eat while I'm getting it done, then I'll get it done and I'll be able to check it off. But in the meantime, you're going like this and you're going 90 miles an hour and you're no fun to be around, right? And you're no fun to yourself and you're no fun to anybody else. So is it really worth it? No. So being able to ask yourself the question when somebody asks you, can you do something? I did it the other day. I was about to go to a networking event and I was like, I don't feel so hot. So I asked myself, do you want to drive down to Boston or do you not want to drive down to Boston? I don't want to drive to Boston. Okay, what do you want to do instead? I want to take a nap is what I heard. Okay, want to take a nap. Go to lay down, can't nap. Mine's going a million miles an hour. I was like, all right, cool. Well, maybe just lay here for a little bit and let's do some visualization of the things that you really would like to have happen in your life, right? So already I'm doing self-care. I'm calming my nervous system. I'm visualizing what I want for the future. But then in the meantime, I'm also being grateful for what I have. Oh, I can feel how soft my sheets are. I love that I have flexibility in my schedule to be able to do this, right? The other thing that you can do is leave room in your calendar to schedule these things. I had a client who started with me as a therapist and we transitioned her business over to coaching. And as a therapist, she was complaining about the fact that she was taking on, 8, 9, 10 clients a day and it was exhausting and she was working weekends. And I said to her, something that as much as you love working like that, you don't because it's affecting your health. So like you've really got to ask yourself, how can you dial it back? How can you leave room in your day to go for a walk by yourself, but not be on the phone with a client when you're going for the walk, right? But there are times where I will double up. I will look at my day, like today, I have a busier day, and there's not a lot of room for self-care. So I'm like, okay, where can I double up? I can go for a walk while I'm talking to my clients. I can be recording the podcast and having breakfast at the same time, right? I got a little bone broth marinating and simmering over here. Like really, truly, how can you make time to just do one thing at a time? And then how can you make time to be more efficient? I wouldn't recommend trying to do everything where you're just trying to be efficient, right? I wouldn't say you should always be doubling up on your workout and talking to a client. But what you could do is say, you know what, this week I was able to double up on quite a few things, but I am going to take Saturday to just sort of have the day and not have it planned, right? So I really do hope that this helps and kind of provides you a little bit of insight into how to take better care of yourself. Certainly, if you want to have a conversation with this, I know everyone is so different. I'm going to include the link on scheduling a coaching call, and we can have a conversation about it because I think back to so many business owners that I've worked with who are super stressed out, and it's very unique. Each stressful situation is so unique. So being able to put it into perspective and again, getting a coaching call through. If for some reason the demand for coaching calls is too high, I will place you all in a group together and we will just have a quick conversation all together, and you'd be surprised at how many people will resonate with your story. So I would encourage you to book sooner. So if you want private time, you can certainly get it. Again, that link is in the show notes. Please share this episode with somebody who really resonates or could resonate with taking better care of themselves and not prioritizing work over their own health and happiness, despite the fact that work makes them happy. And yeah, if you could, I'd love it for you to like this episode and then also leave a review, even if it's just a quick like, wow, this was really great or whatever. It really helps truly with Apple and Spotify pushing this out to other people so that we can get more eyes on feeling healthier and happier. I thank you very much. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.